I found myself like a little rock seat to do this live today. Walking and talking doesn't feel good. I cough thinking about it. Okay. So I want to talk a little bit about the quest I was planning to launch, right? Like a lot of people were very excited for me to come out with the quest. And the quest I wanted to bring out because I wanted people to have access to refining their masculine energy. So especially in this world of like feminine entrepreneurship or spiritual entrepreneurship or anything that has to do with like making our souls work with us to support our lifestyle, a lot of people end up more in one place or the other, the feminine energy and being stuck without making enough action, or overacting, even coming from this place of, am I doing enough? Is this sustainable? In ways that come out of our center. So I see a lot of people in the feminine energy that are getting whipped around by life and burning out just because of not knowing when to lean in and when to lean back. Likewise, with the masculine energy, I see a lot of people overdoing it and over hustling and pushing and pushing and pushing, while maybe having like feminine embodiment practices, while maybe tuning into the body at like convenience or for medicating, but not consistently. So there really is this balance that we strike, and it's unique. Like all of us have our own unique balance point, which is why in my post I put yesterday, I said, I'm not interested in creating replicas of me. Like, it actually turns me off a lot. Like, I don't want people to replicate my process because it's not going to work. What's going to work is I'm going to be able to give you strategy and structure so you can find your process, so you can find what works for you. And that's what makes it sustainable. Because when we try on other people's approaches, it gives us inspiration, but if we don't innovate it, then it's not going to be sustainable. And I want, sustainability is most important to me. I don't want to have these like high experiences and then come down and worry about how am I going to do it again. Like that's not fun. So for me, it really is like, where is that union place where I can trust in my full body that every action I take is going to have a high ROI, however long that takes. So I have conviction with the moves I make, with the ripples that I'm putting out in the universe. So the quest was all about the actions we take towards God, towards the universe, as God and the universe takes a step towards us. And I was going to put that program out. That was so important to me to help people understand the aligned action. Because a lot of people are just like, oh, I desire this, writing the affirmation and trying to affirm their way to something, but not taking fucking action or not taking the right action, right? Like there's a lot of that. So I really wanted to give people the structure, the system, the tools to find their process so we know in our full body that the actions we take are the aligned actions to take. What ended up happening, and this is the best decision I made all quarter, was I realized that I can't deliver the quest without giving this like prerequisite of understanding. Hey, Andrew, good morning. Yeah, what I seek is seeking me. Exactly. But that doesn't mean we just lay back and wait for it to come. Like we have to act. But here's the thing. Most people, what they're seeking for, they're thinking what they're seeking for, right? Like even this, it's like, I actually love that you said this, Andrew, and it's coming from a masculine perspective too, because for me, these two programs, Arrive and the Quest, are all about releasing the seeker to embody the queen, embody the priestess, embody the god, whatever it is, because there's this aspect, like the seeking aspect is so mental and it pulls us out of the body. And there's differences when we have, when we're feminine beings by default and masculine beings by default. And that's way too much for me to ever get into in Alive. And we want to be balanced in both, but that's why this program is really designed for feminine beings, because we're meant to, and not female, like not feminine, like you have a pussy, like just people who identify as feminine, because we have to put our bodies first. So here's the thing, if we're going on the quest without actually establishing a core connection with our body, and like I said, it's like most of the women in my life, in my field, in my community are on this path of feminine embodiment. It's like, I should hope that you have your own tools and practices and that you've been on this journey. And if you haven't, great. Let's go. I'll get you there real fucking quick. I know the shortcuts. But if you have, what I'm going to be bringing in Arrive, it's not necessarily about like new practices. It's going to be a deeper lens to be looking at this. So this is why this has been the best decision for me. So Arrive is all about coming into the desires of the heart. So getting out of the mind, quieting the noise, because especially if you're on the entrepreneurial path, and it's not just if you're on the entrepreneurial path, but entrepreneurship is like a high spiritual initiation. Like seriously, like I talked about for years, the 3 pillars of my healing were yoga, plant medicines, and sacred sexuality. Entrepreneurship has been top tier. That's the 4th. It is high spiritual initiation and activation. So when we're coming into entrepreneurship, when we're seeing a lot of people doing the thing and we're looking for inspiration, we're trying to figure it out, there's so much of us that, like anything else, will outsource our power, which isn't going to do us any service or give us any, or bring us into harmony, but we don't know what to do because like we're seeing all these other people do the thing and we desire the thing. So we think if we imitate the thing, that's what's going to bring us the thing. And it's not. And it's not. It is a spiritual initiation. So we need to be grounded in our core. We need to be grounded in our heart and our womb. That's the creative center, and our yoni, where all the pleasure, magnetism comes from. It all comes from there. But before we can get to like all the flashy, fun, very, what's the word? Easy to sell, orgasmic manifestation shit, right? Because we see that all the time. And it's overdone and it's misunderstood and people like really don't understand it. It's just easy to sell sex and money. So that's why people are doing it. But before we can even get to any kind of orgasmic manifestation nonsense, what we have to do is come into our body, regulate our nervous system, be in our senses, and understand the quadrants of our own health, understand our koshas, understand the elements, understand how to work with inner alchemy in order to bring us to that place where we can be fully magnetic. And I will say that I've had vows of celibacy that were most important to me, and my celibate times have been my most magnetic times because of the way that I move with my sexual energy. Like this is really important too, because I think a lot of people are like, oh, I'm not turned on enough, like all of these things, all the ways that we make ourselves wrong. And it's because we all have a different journey. So when we're comparing ourselves to other people's journey, we get lost. So what do we do when we get lost? We come back, we arrive back in the body to our core, to the core of our soul, the core of our heart, and we awaken the temple. We bring full presence. And from that space of centeredness, we can go on the quest. But if we're a little bit in front of our heart, if our energy is like a foot in front of our heart, or if our mind, our energy is up and to the side and we're leading from those points, we're not aligned to go on the quest. So the reason that choosing to do Arrive was the best decision that I made this year is because there's something really special when we're creating a program that we're getting initiated deeper into our own medicine. So since I chose to do Arrive, it's been my whole life in a much deeper way. And that's been my quest, is how do I make this deeper? How do I take it deeper? How do I make this even more than what it's meant to me? And there's parts in me that are awakening that I'm so in love with. There's parts of my embodiment, there's facets of my soul, there's flickers of my heart, there's all of these aspects of me that are coming online like full throttle that, I mean, I've always known they were there, but I now have so much space for them to be expressing, and my quality of life, whew, exponentially high. While at the same time dealing with my poor babies, like, oh my God, my cat has had like this belly issue for 9 days and it was like killing me for so many reasons. But having these practices at the same time have allowed me to hold the full spectrum of duality, and really be deep in my feminine magnetism, awakening up these points in me that had been laying dormant, because this is what we do too. And this is why it's like, this work is for everyone, like to be on the mastery path is to know that the work is always deepening. So again, if you've been on this journey, if you have your own feminine embodiment practices and there's a part of you that's like, oh, I don't need this, I would challenge that part, because there's always another level deeper. So what is the part of your ego that's like, no, we don't need to go deeper? No, I'm not. Because if there's anything about me and my medicine is I'll take you fucking deep. I will take you fucking deep. I live for the depth. That's what I'm here for. Woof. All right. I'm gonna get moving. I'm so excited. Yeah, last night, oh my God, so I'll share this. So last night I said that I got lost on the entry point of the trail. So here's something interesting. So let me get up. Oh, my butt's asleep. So I see energy, right? Like a lot of us, beautifully psychic, gifted feminine beings. So right now, like the ground is like coated in leaves. So there's no actual trail path. So I can see the energy of where I walk. Like that's how I follow it. I just see it's like illuminated in white light where my path is to get into the trails. But there's this log that I step over. So last night when I was out looking for that path, I didn't see the path beyond the log and I wasn't fully present. And I took a right where I should have stepped over the log because the log made me feel like, oh, it's not this way. So I just default went the other way and got way lost. Again, it was like an 1/8 of a mile, maybe a 1/16 of a mile from the road. It was so ridiculous, but I was like, oh, this is wild, wild. And then I looked like at my phone to see when sunset was, and it was 4:23, and I think I left at 3:45, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to be able to do this. But it was a big adventure. I did about half of my loops. There was a fun little game I was playing called, is this a squirrel or is this a coyote? Totally fun. Yeah, so I'm really happy to get out this morning. All right. I will see y'all tomorrow. Okay, so yeah, so the early bird for these programs, this is the other thing. I'm going to end with this. When I was launching these programs, I didn't think they were going to be 5-week programs. I thought they were going to be much shorter. I thought I was going to get them done in 2 weeks. So originally I was going to price them at $333. When I found out they were 5-week programs, I was like, nope, these are $555. It's not worth my energy otherwise. But I needed to honor the sale price that I announced because I'm not a dick. So this is why they're so discounted right now, is because I already said that I would arrive the early bird price for $222 until Friday, and the bundle price of both of them is $444, which is less than the price of one of them because I already said that. So it's not some like flashy sales tactic. It's literally just me keeping my word, and please take advantage of this. These are going to be evergreen. These are going to be fucking masterpiece programs that I'm going to sell forever and come back to forever. Take my own medicine. So much fun. It really is humbling to do that. But yeah, so that's why they're priced the way they are. The early bird ends on Friday. Like, just take advantage of it. Take advantage of it. It's like a no-brainer. Okay. I love you. Hasta mañana. Ciao.